The 2-minute thriller opening that we have produced both conforms and challenges the conventions of thriller films. Setting. The majority of our thriller opening is set in a basement. We got the idea of setting it in a basement from the conference room from the film The Dark Knight. This is quite a conventional setting for a thriller film as it is quite dark and mysterious. We moved things around in the basement prior to filming so it was suitable. We deliberately made the basement dark and gloomy by covering the windows and left some things laying around to help make it appear realistic. We used the kitchen as it was the only way the protagonist would be able to exit the house. The bright light from the kitchen contrasted highly compared to the basement, which helped to symbolise that she was free. We decided to use the garden that was just outside the kitchen. We got the inspiration to use the garden from the Hunger Games. The idea of such an open space with a lack of hiding spaces helped to add suspense. It can be seen as an unconventional setting as it is so bright and open, although it can still be seen as thrilling as it shows it could happen anywhere. We also used the barn that was located outside the house. We decided to use this as it was dark and gloomy. It appeared uncared for and was a suitable place for Megan the protagonist to hide. Camera shots. We used a wide variety of camera shots throughout our thriller opening to make it appear more interesting. We used camera shots such as close-ups, mid-shots and a trunk shot. Trunk shot. We used the trunk shot in our opening as we found it to be an incredibly inspiring camera shot. We got our inspiration for this camera shot from various films that were directed by Quentin Tarantino, such as Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. It is an extremely conventional camera shot for a thriller film and works well as a cliffhanger. Close-ups. Close-ups are used a lot in thriller films. We use them to help show significance and focus the audience's attention, for example when Megan is tied to the chair. High/low angle. We used high and low angles throughout our thriller opening to help show how powerful Ben and Jack are and how Megan is at mercy of them. Along with all the different camera shots, we used editing techniques such as quick cuts, which are extremely conventional with thriller films, for example in Taken where the car chases or fight scenes occur. We used quick cuts to show the faster paced parts of our thriller opening, such as when Megan is running across the garden. Mise-en-scène. Lighting. Most of the lighting throughout our thriller opening was extremely conventional as it was low key. We used this type of lighting in the basement and the barn. When Megan gets into the kitchen/garden, it's much brighter, which can be seen as a convention as it indicates that she's free. When we were filming in the basement, we had the majority of the light on just the actors, so the audience attention was focused. We had more light on Megan the protagonist than Jack and Ben the antagonists. This helped to portray Jack and Ben as more sinister. Costume/makeup. Megan's clothing was chosen based on the fact that we wanted it to appear realistic as if she was kidnapped out of the blue. We chose to have very conventional kidnappers. To do this, we chose dark clothing for them to wear and got them to wear balaclavas. The balaclavas help draw the audience's focus to their eyes as they are unable to see much else. The black clothing helps connote their sinister personalities and helps to show the difference in power between the protagonist and the antagonist. We included fake blood to show that Megan had been beaten. We applied fake blood to the Hessian bag, Megan's face and Jack's knuckles to make it appear more realistic. It is quite conventional for a thriller film to include violence and blood, for example in the film Seven.
You're looking for me.
Props. We decided to have the protagonist tied to a chair in the basement. It is convention for the protagonist to be tied up, as it helps to show that he or she is vulnerable and has no control. We also decided to include a Hessian bag that had fake blood applied to it to hide the protagonist's face and help add mystery and create suspense. We also incorporated the use of a car into our thriller opening. The car can be seen as both a conventional and unconventional prop, as it is typical to have a getaway vehicle in a thriller film, but it is also not the type of car you'd expect the characters to drive. It is both small and brightly coloured. Body language/facial expression. The body language that both Jack and Ben used is extremely conventional. They don't give much away about themselves and appear defensive and confident. You cannot see their facial expressions properly as the balaclavas are covering the majority of their faces. This helps to portray them as more intimidating and conventional kidnappers. Megan's body language and facial expressions is mainly conventional as she appears to be under the control of the antagonists, but at certain points her body language can be seen as unconventional as she doesn't appear to be frightened when she's being questioned. Characters. The characters that we chose to play the antagonists were conventional in the sense that they were both male. This is seen in a lot of different thriller films. The protagonist, Megan, can be seen as both conventional and unconventional. She is a conventional character as she is a woman who is at mercy of the antagonists. She can also be seen as an unconventional character for a thriller film because of her personality. She appears to be quite mentally strong and doesn't seem to be intimidated by the antagonists.